This is Greg Gagne. Tune in to Count It Out. Great podcast. Two of the greatest guys I've ever interviewed with. Don't miss it.
Listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Steel Approved Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Mike, and I am joined by Tyler. Wait, no, my name is Tyler. No, my name is Mike. Who am I? Tell me the truth, Mike.
Come on, that's your.
Honestly, I just wanted to try to confuse you by saying my name was Mike, and then that just came to me. So
we're not even 30 seconds in, and this shit is off the rails.
That was great. I just made that up in 4 seconds. I'm the best. Fine, I will be Tyler. I am joined by Mike. Mike, what's going on?
We're gonna have a good show today. We're coming off a lot of wrestling.
Hell yeah!
All in one day. There was 2 WWE shows and, of course, a Barry Wrestling show.
Yeah, which you made your return to.
Which I did make my return, all in one day. So a pretty tremendous show, too. We'll talk about that in a minute. I picked a good one to come back to.
You did. I'd say top.
But yeah, big weekend in wrestling. Big week in wrestling because, we saw a lot of things. Because even right before that pay-per-view, we of course saw the lead up to Money in the Bank, stuff that happened in there. We saw the debut of Mariah May, now known as Blake Monroe, in NXT. I think that's big news. Lots happened in wrestling in the last week.
Wrestling is awesome. I like wrestling.
I think I'm going to be carrying the show today. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. I am here. Let's talk about the weekend. Let's start with the WWE and AAA Worlds Collide pay-per-view.
Okay.
Paying homage to the When Worlds Collide pay-per-view many years ago that WCW did. That show was such a groundbreaking show. That's where we really saw, people like Eddie Guerrero and Conan and Rey Mysterio get their first real big North American exposure.
100%.
They did try to get Mike.
I think that was a big turning point for WCW.
Oh, big time. Yeah, big time.
Big.
And they did try to get Mike Tenay to come on for the show, and they just couldn't find the right price for it. But I thought Corey Graves and Conan were a great team together.
Me too. I think Conan did a great job. I only got to see bits and pieces of the show. I didn't watch the whole thing.
I watched the main event, which I thought was a very good match. Everybody's calling it match of the year. I don't know if it's for me match of the year, but I thought it was a phenomenal match. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know for match of the year for me. Not yet, at least. I'm going to wait and see a little bit. I definitely think I enjoy the women's triple threat at WrestleMania a little bit better. That's still, I think, my leading candidate right now for match of the year, or up there at least. But what a phenomenal showing. Chad Gable, let's take a minute and talk about Chad Gable. This guy is maybe the MVP of the WWE for the first half of this year. He's got to be in contention.
I'm not sure if I would go that far, to be perfectly honest, but he is one of the most entertaining parts of professional wrestling right now. I'll give you that much.
I'm putting him in the mix, man. I'm putting him in the mix for one of their top wrestlers of the year so far. His character work is top notch, both as well. I mean, I don't know if he's El Grande Americano. We're still trying to figure that out.
That's it.
I do know that.
We're not that kind of podcast, man. Don't be spreading rumors.
Well, and I know that he's such a nice guy too because he lent El Grande his boots a couple weeks ago, which was really nice.
I actually heard I heard a theory about that. CG, it's standing for Cerro Gringo.
See, there you go. That's a possibility as well, right? But his character work is absolutely phenomenal. This El Grande Americano character is absolutely phenomenal. He is putting on banger after banger every time he's in the ring. I am definitely throwing Chad Gable's name in the mix for the rest of the year category this year for sure.
Okay, well, we'll see how the year ends out. As far as storylines go and character work, yeah, he's up there. Um, uh, we don't need to talk about his in-ring work. We've known for years what his in-ring work can
Yeah,
be.
but it's getting better
If
somehow.
if they let, I think it's getting better because they're letting him be what he is.
And
Um,
I think just years in the WWE system, like it forces you to even get better and better and better, even when you're really good. And now that
see,
they have taken the cuffs off of him,
if
it's
you go
been
back and
crazy.
watch some stuff of the original stuff that he was doing with Jason Jordan, like their tag stuff,
Oh
they had
yeah,
some great matches. And
100% they
then
did.
and then they did what WWE sometimes does, and they kind of dumbed him down a bit. They didn't let him be his full self. But
What, you
now
mean
they're getting
Shorty G didn't?
they're taking the reins off him for a bit, and I really like what they're doing with him right now. He's in that perfect spot where they're he no longer feels like that guy where okay he hit his ceiling. It's there is somewhere for him to go, and it's only up.
The other
I'm
talk of that
I'm enjoying it.
pay-per-view is what's this Mr. Iguana guy? What the hell's this guy's story?
I don't know his story. I don't know anything about him. I found him extremely entertaining. Um, he's ripped the wrestling world into, which is what a surprise. Wrestling fans have something to say. Um, a lot of people think that what he did was fun and great, and there's a place for it. And a lot of people are bitching and whining, saying there's no place in wrestling for something like this. Is it day one? Is this your first day watching professional fucking wrestling? There's been characters like this for 50 fucking years. If you can't handle him, you wouldn't have been able to hang with us in the Attitude Era, even though you people are always like, I want Attitude Era back. Wait till miss the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era is full of characters like this, full of them. Go farther back, go all the way back to the 80s and see George the Animal Steel. These characters have been around forever. One of the hottest tag teams in the world in the 90s was the Bushwhackers. These characters have been around for years and years and years. This is not a new thing. Listen, whether or not his style is your cup of tea, that's up to you. But
Yeah.
don't be bitching and whining, saying that stuff like this is ruining wrestling,
No.
because there is not a single promotion out there that includes AEW, that includes ECW, WCW, New Japan especially. There's not a single promotion out there that does not utilize characters like this. They're
I
everywhere.
I say good for him. He is now a known name.
Exactly.
There's definitely a place in wrestling for him. Is
Uh-huh.
is he my cup of tea? Not really. I thought he was very entertaining, but I didn't see him do anything that I haven't seen somebody else do.
Yeah.
Maybe not better, but like he didn't like break the ground for me and be like, "Oh my
No, and
God,
I
this
agree,
is."
and I agree with that. I think he was very entertaining, and maybe he's something that younger people haven't seen before. Maybe that's why he didn't really break any ground for us, because this is nothing we haven't seen.
I
This
see it.
is, you know,
I see a great place for him in the NXT brand. I think he would really get over with that
you
crowd.
know, I've been thinking about that ever since you mentioned that to me off air about 2 days ago, and I've been thinking about it. I think that all depends on what they're going to do with AAA.
Yeah, well,
If if they're if
they're
if
gonna
they're
keep
going to
running it.
if they're going to keep running it and keep it as it is, I say keep a character like that there in AAA.
Why
I
can't
think
he do
that's his place.
both?
I I
Why
suppose he could,
why not put him weekly on NXT to get him way more exposure and then put him for the big shows on AAA?
but this is what I'm saying. Instead of giving him exposure on a bigger show, why not just make AAA bigger? You're in a place where you
You
can give
can't
AAA What do you mean?
you can't make AAA bigger until you get people to care about the wrestlers first
But
In North America.
they're in a spot where they can make AAA more accessible to people in North America. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, AAA got bigger this weekend because like of the show they just put
Sure.
on the WWE network, like YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So if you put their characters on weekly TV, it will make people invest in them more, so they will carry over to AAA.
I guess what I'm trying to say is you make a weekly television show of AAA.
Well, I don't know what their plan is
No,
with.
neither do I. I'm saying this is what you should do. Learn
But,
from the mistakes of the past. Don't go and do
well,
what you did to other
I don't know. Like
things you bought.
I look at like WWE NXT UK, and they put on a phenomenal weekly show, but nobody in North America was really following it that
I
closely,
guess. Yeah.
right? So maybe they are learning from their mistakes. Maybe they do get these guys exposure in the WWE audience first, so they'll follow them. That's my
Yeah.
take on it.
Well, I think no matter what, at the end of the day, I think the show was a success.
100%
I
it
think
was.
I think it was good for them to do it. I had my reservations at first about doing it in the middle of the afternoon, right before a big pay-per-view. I don't like stuff like that just because I feel like you're overexposing stuff and you're giving too much in one day, and that if people are already planning to watch Money in the Bank that night, maybe they don't want to quote unquote waste their afternoon by watching something else. They're like, I don't know, I'm going to go out and do what I have to do during the day because I'm watching wrestling tonight. So I wasn't sure about that idea, but we are also in a world where you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it whenever you want. It's not like 1996 where,
Well, our
if you missed
mind
it, you missed it.
we're also thinking like a couple of people that are in their 40s when we talk like that too. If I was in my, early 20s, what a great day. I'm going to spend the whole day watching wrestling, having a couple drinks. Maybe I'll have a couple people over. Like I think that for us, like we have other responsibilities that it's hard for us to sit down and dedicate a whole day to watch wrestling. I mean, I would love to. I would absolutely
For
love
sure.
to, right? But
Yeah.
you do that every weekend, you're getting wife heat or you're right? Like that's a real thing. You
Yeah.
gotta, but like for us, you've got two children, so you're not going to be able to do that. I've got responsibilities outside of just watching wrestling as well. So for us at the stage of life that we're in, maybe not, but for
Adulting sucks, dude.
I hate being a grown up. But I definitely don't hate the idea, man. If I wasn't a married man and I was, 20 years younger again, I would absolutely be like, give me 3 shows a day because I was fiending back. I was fiending back then, man.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I would happily love to watch a day where NXT runs a show leading into a TNA pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was all for that back then. I just don't have the time to do it now.
Now, what I'm about to say is going to come off as negative, and I'm going to preface it by saying that it really isn't. It's actually the opposite because it attests to how much I'm enjoying wrestling in 2025. We have been blessed with some of the greatest pay-per-views of this decade so far
Yeah.
in 2025. I think WWE has been spot on with all their PLEs. I honestly think they have been. I
They've
think
been
all their
they've
PLEs
been
so far
good.
have been
They
have been
they
have been great.
they've been really good.
AEW has been nonstop. No matter what I think about their weekly television programs, it's been nonstop great pay-per-views. TNA's been solid on all their pay-per-views. We've
Sure.
been very blessed with great pay-per-views. Don't criticize something you don't watch.
I watch everything.
You
Didn't you
watch
just
nothing. So
didn't you just
stop.
hear me? Didn't you just hear me? I watch
You watch
everything.
nothing. So we've been very blessed this year. With that said, I'm going to say I think Money in the Bank is probably the weakest pay-per-view I've seen this year.
Did you watch the whole thing or
I did not watch the 2 Intercontinental Championship matches. I watched everything else. And they were great. They were good matches. They were good, really good matches. But that's how spoiled I think we've been this year, where I think a solid pay-per-view like this is probably the weakest pay-per-view we've had so far.
I haven't watched the whole show yet. I've yet to watch. I skimmed through the main event just because I wanted to make sure we could talk about it on the
Sure.
show.
Yeah.
And I haven't got to watch the IC
The
title
match was
matches.
okay. The match was good in the thing where we got to see Logan Paul make a spectacle of himself a little bit.
Yeah, he's
And that's always a
incredible.
fun thing.
I heard I heard the women's IC title match stole the show. So
Really? Okay. Well,
I-
I did not watch it, and I'll tell you why I didn't watch it. And this is purely a dumb take on my part. I'm having a hard time with Becky since her return. I'm just not feeling her return, and I was excited for her to come back. I wanted her to come back, and as soon as she got back, I wasn't feeling it.
Well,
I
Becky's
don't know
kind
whether
of.
this feud she's having with Lyra Valkyra, whatever you call her. I'm just it's not enough to make me want to watch those matches.
I'm enjoying it. I haven't, like I said, I don't have time to watch all the wrestling in the world. I skim through things. I'm a big YouTube watcher.
Mhm.
I watch a lot of clips on YouTube of stuff. I have enjoyed what I've seen of their feud. I think that Lyra is really stepping up her game. I think she's really got a bright future. I think Becky is kind of falling in the Charlotte mix a little bit, where she's been the man and this character for quite a long time,
Yeah.
and there's just not a lot like left like fresh wise for her to like, maybe I think that's why like people don't put
And I
Bailey
think
into a group like this, because
and
Bailey is constantly evolving her character.
I think that's why I'm disappointed because she was off television for so long that it should feel fresh. Her coming back should feel like this brand new thing, but it doesn't.
I just don't know how you like what the change you make is. And same thing with Charlotte too. Like,
No, and that's this is where I'm going to put the responsibility on Becky and the writers in WWE. Um, I'm not going to pretend to be able to do their job. I don't know what I would do either, but something more than what they're doing.
yeah, and Charlotte too, like the people are really backlashing on her character, and I don't have a problem with Charlotte, but I get it. Like there's only so many times we can watch her win the world title and let us hear how she's the greatest. And in
You're
my
right.
opinion, she is the greatest. And I'm not a Charlotte hater like everybody else. I'm a big fan of hers, but I don't know where you go with her from here. Like could you imagine if Bailey was still doing the hugging gimmick right now? Like
Right?
like people would be in the same boat with Bailey right now. And but Bailey has found a way to constantly change and evolve that character, right?
Excuse me.
She went from the hugger to the role model to damage control to and
Bailey
now I
is
find Bailey's in a bit of a weird limbo as well, though.
Yes, she is.
I don't understand her character now. There isn't really a character. She's just kind of herself.
Bailey is not too far away from being able to be put in that category as the next Chris Jericho. She's in that category of somebody who's going to be talked about in her division as one of the greatest of all time. And nobody can take that away from her. You have with like I we both have our ideas of who the best women's wrestlers are, but Bailey has to be in your conversation. She has to be.
Absolutely.
And then you put in the reinventing. Why is she still looked at as somebody who can be talked about like that? Because she keeps reinventing herself. And that's what Jericho did for years and years. That's
Well,
why Jericho stayed in that conversation as long as he did.
and they both deliver in the ring. You talk about
Well,
Jericho,
that's it as well.
like,
Yeah.
even to this day, like Jericho still delivers in the ring in his 50s. Like he's still putting on great matches when he's in there. And
Exactly.
Bailey has been consistently good for 15 years now. Like she doesn't miss. She's always good.
She's always good. I always look forward to a Bailey program or a Bailey match.
Yeah, me too. And
Always.
I'm glad she got that rally behind her last year around WrestleMania time, and they got behind her for the Royal Rumble, and they got her in the women's title match for WrestleMania 40.
She will never not be in my top three favorite female wrestlers of
Yeah.
all time.
What do we think about the Money in the Bank winners? Let's start with the women. Naomi, how do you feel?
I was surprised. That's not what I had in mind.
Really, she was one of the heavy favorites to win.
That's not who I expected. Do you know who I wanted, to be perfectly honest? And I didn't know I wanted it until I watched the match was about 5 minutes in, and I had because going in I thought it was going to be Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
That
okay.
was my prediction. I think I said that on the show a couple weeks ago. My prediction was Alexa Bliss. Going into the show, that's what I said. I was watching this with my son, Finn, on the train coming home from Barry Wrestling, and his prediction was Naomi, and I laughed at him. I said, "All right, bud, all right, you just like Naomi." I'm like, "You don't know what you're talking about. You're 60." God damn it, was he right? But 5 minutes into the match, I changed my mind. I said, "No, I think it's time for Julia." Julia was really impressing me in this match, and I said, I think this is what they do with her. I think this is how they push her and make her a name. I was wrong, obviously, but I wish I wasn't. I think Julia should have won that match.
I think Julia is going to be one of the faces of the company. I think too soon for her right now.
Sure,
I think she needs to establish herself on the main roster a little bit more.
but
Stephanie
all
Valqueras, I believe.
these three wrestlers that I'm not fully in tune with because I didn't watch enough NXT, Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne Perez. I don't know enough about them. I didn't watch them enough. They all impressed me in this match.
Roxanne Perez gives me very strong AJ Lee vibes.
Sure,
Like you can
I
tell
see
that you can tell that she was very influenced by her.
Mhm.
Stephanie is ready and
Yeah, she's ready to
she's
go.
over that
Yeah,
like ass slamming move thing that she does.
yeah,
Like
way over. Look, when she did it on the ladder to Rhea,
yeah,
the fans went nuts.
I think Stephanie's ready for the next step. I think she would have been a great choice for that briefcase, but I think Naomi is the best
So
choice for
I was gonna
that.
say, so to answer your question, I don't think Naomi was the best choice, but I'm definitely not against it. I'm
Her new heel character is really taken off, and it's time. It's time for Naomi
is
to
it
really get the shine.
Is Bianca still champion? Because I'm
No,
a little off the product right now.
and you're
So
telling me that I don't watch wrestling. You're giving me shit, asking if
you don't
Bianca.
watch wrestling, you read wrestling. So
I think I watch more wrestling than you do the last couple
bullshit.
months. I think I do. I think I do. At least current wrestling.
No, no,
You
we'll
just
see.
asked me if Bianca Belair is the champion. She hasn't been the champion in like 2 years.
One thing I didn't. Oh, yeah, I thought she won it at some point.
What? No. She's been hurt since WrestleMania. She hasn't been on the show since WrestleMania.
Well, fuck me then. Like I can't keep up with everything, and I know you don't, so don't judge me for it.
I think I'm doing a better job than you these days.
All right. Anyways, move on.
Do you want to talk about the epic run Bianca Belair's been on since WrestleMania, or do you want to move on to a new topic?
So if you want to apply to be my new co-host on this show, go to Mike at countedout7.com.
And if you'd like to apply to be my new co-host, all you have to do is watch any type of wrestling since WrestleMania, and
Don't fucking do that. Okay,
um,
anyways.
anyway, we were talking about Naomi. I think that her heel turn has been incredible. Her work that she has done since the Jade Cargill storyline has been awesome. Her promos have been absolutely incredible, and I think that I like the fact that we have two heel Money in the Bank winners right now because I think this concept works so much better with heels than faces.
Yeah, it can. I think there is a place for a heel or for a face to hold that. They just haven't done it right in a very long time.
Of course, there's a
So
place for it, but
yeah,
it's more entertaining with the heel.
um, I just don't know how I feel about it right now. I almost feel like it's Seth is in a place in his career where he does not need this briefcase. He Seth can snap his fingers and get a title match when he wants because he's Seth fucking Rollins.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't know, but at the same time, and you said this last week, and I fully agreed with you, and I still agree with you. Who else was going to win it? There was no other option in this match. I don't like the choices they made for this match. That's all. In
So
I don't know.
I'll put you on the spot then. Who would you have put the Money in the Bank briefcase
I,
on? Not even in the match, just
you
on
on
the
the
entire
spot.
in the entire roster.
Braun Breaker definitely comes to mind.
I
Um,
think it's too soon for Braun, my opinion.
what I would like to see Braun do, I want to see Braun. I would like to see Braun have the briefcase, go on, win the Royal Rumble, and have two title opportunities in his
Yeah,
hands. We
that's
haven't
cool.
seen that. We haven't seen that done.
I would like to see somebody do that. I don't want that to be Braun, I don't think for me. I think for me personally, it's too early. I think that the big money in Braun is to maybe have him
Well,
either
because here's what I'm thinking. By the time came for him to win that title, winning it off Seth, if Seth was the champion by then, have him turn on Seth would make him the biggest babyface in the world.
I think that he definitely
That
needs to
that
do
that
the
would be the Give
I,
him
I
give him the Batista treatment.
that's what I said to you last or a
Yeah.
couple days ago. You give him the Batista treatment where Seth is holding a title and Braun just gets caught looking at it.
And that is where we're on with what the track we're on right now. With him winning with the briefcase, we can put the title on him. Braun wins the Royal Rumble. We can do the Batista Triple H angle all over again,
100%. And
fresh and clean.
I think that's the right
and
move.
I do like that. So you know what? I'm
I
gonna
think-
I'm gonna admit I'm gonna concede here. I'm gonna admit when I'm wrong. If that's the angle they're gonna do, if that's where we're going with this, then I'm okay with Seth winning it. I just we've seen them waste and screw up the Money in the Bank so many times that I get worried about it. And
that's why I think
Yeah.
Seth is the perfect person to hold this briefcase. Because I do think that this Money in the Bank concept has lost a lot of its allure and a lot of its, excitement over the last couple of years. I just
Sure.
don't think people are as into the gimmick as it used to be. We've seen, your Austin theories and even last year with Drew. I like the way that they did it with Drew.
I like how they utilized the briefcase with that.
I
really
did,
because
but-
it made the CM Punk Drew McIntyre story so much more interesting.
I agree with that, but it did sacrifice a huge storyline and made people
Sure.
forget about it again, right?
Yeah.
So with Seth with the briefcase, I love the way they did it. I thought the way he came out on Raw with the Cena and Punk promo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched the promo or not, but he
No, I didn't. I meant to. I watched the R-Truth.
phenomenal
I watched the
promo.
R-Truth promo, but I missed the Punk Cena promo.
Basically, like Cena and Punk had their first promo in years. It was an incredible promo. Punk was really on point, and then they agreed to the match, and then Seth's music hit, and he just came out and laughed and held the briefcase up and just said, "I'm here."
That's good. Where are we heading right now? Where are we? We're not at SummerSlam yet, eh?
No,
Where-
Night of Champions.
Is that where? Do you think that's where you do Punk and
That
Cena
is-
Night and Champions?
That is where they're doing.
No,
Punk
I'm
and
asking
Cena.
you. I'm asking you. I'm not asking.
Um.
I'm asking if this is the right call.
Okay, so I have two different
Because-
takes on it. I
Because
have a yes and a no.
I had predicted at the beginning of the year that was the match you saved for SummerSlam.
That's what I thought as well.
So do you think they're making a mistake here?
Personally, yes and no. And I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you why. I would have booked this match at SummerSlam or even Money in the Bank with their
I was
history.
going to say they're putting it right in between the two shows it should have been at.
Now they've also had a really great match at the Night of Champion pay-per-view as well in the past. But I think it's their biggest match they can put on right now. So I thought SummerSlam would be good for it. I do like the
But
fact
you're gonna sell SummerSlam no matter what.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the way you're like,
Well,
okay, how are we gonna sell Night of Champions?
Night of Champions is in Saudi, so it doesn't matter. It's already sold.
True enough.
But if John Cena is continuing his quest to try to ruin wrestling, why would he give us what we want at SummerSlam? Why would he not give us the match that most people are looking forward to more than any other John Cena match on this retirement tour at a Night of Champions pay-per-view? Also,
So here's my question.
Night of
Okay.
Champions is a sandwich pay-per-view in between two huge pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So it's going to give people a reason to want to tune into it. And who says that this match doesn't lead to a second match at SummerSlam?
Okay, so that's where I was gonna go. I'm like, because the story that they've been telling so far has been every opponent he's had has been the last time. Is this the story that gets doubled?
Maybe.
I don't think so. And I'll tell
I
you
don't
who-
think so either, but maybe.
I'll tell you who I think is going to be. But yeah, I'll just go there. With recent things happening in WWE, I think we're going to get Cena and R-Truth at SummerSlam.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to touch each other again for a while.
Then why have R-Truth beat the shit out of Cena on his return?
I don't know. I just
No,
the way that promo went. At first, I thought we were
That
going to
man,
get.
that man is one of the most over people in the world right now. I think you're dumb if you don't put him back in that position.
But why? He's just going to lose.
Yeah, well, that he loses.
But then you kill him.
Well, better than being fucking fired.
But he's not fired anymore.
A week ago, he didn't have a job.
I just
I'll take I'll take jobbing at SummerSlam over being fired.
I don't know. I feel like they really could have something special with Truth here, but I think they got to have him win, like not lose his first match. You know what I mean? Like his first big match.
Okay, so who's the SummerSlam opponent then? Who's
I
left?
think
Who's big enough?
you're not gonna like it, but I think we're gonna see a
Don't say
Rock and
Logan
Travis Scott. I think we're gonna
fuck
see a
that.
Rock and Travis Scott. We could see
It's
a Logan
not.
Paul.
Not only do I not like it, I just think you're wrong. I just don't think it's going to
I
happen.
wouldn't have a problem with Logan Paul and Cena either. I mean, Logan Paul's been unreal this year.
I just don't want to see him against Cena. I don't want to ruin Cena's. I don't want any reason to cheer for Cena right now, and I don't want any reason to cheer for Logan Paul.
I mean,
They're
there's
two
still
of the
lots of reasons to cheer for Cena. It's his last run.
let,
People are still cheering for him.
let him get booed. He wants to be booed. Let the man get booed.
Uh, it's hard. It's a hard spot he's in
But
to.
don't give them reasons to cheer him.
Well,
Don't
I
give
mean,
them
but he's
don't
so
give
good
them
though. He's
but
so
don't give them
good.
extra. Don't give them extra. You can't put him against heels. You just can't.
He's
Not right
gonna
now.
he's
Not
gonna
right now.
get cheered against Cody when they fight. He's gonna get cheered against Logan Paul if they fight. Punk is probably the only guy he won't get cheered against. I can't think of any other people that like even in St. Louis there was still cheers for him against Randy Orton.
So before we move on, here I want to go back to Money in the Bank for a second. Your prediction: when and who against do we see Seth cash in on?
Well, and
We-
I have a rant that I want to go on here as
Oh.
well, so it's good.
Ooh,
Uh,
big
you
old Tyler Rant.
you triggered a rant for me, but before that, I want to just say the spot at Money in the Bank where Logan Paul had the drone and Cody superplexed him was
Amazing spot.
so fucking
And
good.
I have nothing but respect for you, Tony Deppen, but you're wrong.
Yeah, he put out a tweet
I
saying how
love Tony
stupid
Deppen.
it was.
Tony Deppen has been one of my favorite indie wrestlers for years. But for him to share that just to say it's stupid, man, you work in GCW. Stupid happens every 15 minutes.
It was
And I love
such a cool,
GCW.
it was
So
such a cool
stop.
looking spot. For anyone that didn't see it, Logan Paul was doing his spot where the drone was flying and he grabbed the drone and was like like talking to the drone. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden Cody jumped up on the turnbuckle and they kept the drone shot on and he suplexed Logan Paul and they followed it all the way down. It looked unbelievable.
Why anybody would think this is a dumb spot? It all made sense. He waited. It's in his character to wait too long to be to.
Well, and he's used the
He's so
drone.
he's used the drone before.
He did
He's
that
so-
WrestleMania.
He's so egotistical that he would wait. He would waste his time up there. That's who he is. Everything about that spot made sense. No, it wasn't dumb.
By the way, the
You-
feud of the year
Tony
so
Tony
far.
himself have done a lot of dumb things. What are you doing?
The feud of the year so far is Logan Paul and Stu the cameraman. Just putting that out there for everybody.
Right.
And if you haven't watched any of those clips, find them. They're very funny.
I'm loving. Did you see the clip of Triple H giving them shit about the cameraman?
Yeah, he's like, stop talking to the cameraman.
Stop making them celebrities. I don't need everybody coming out to entrance teams like Cole does.
Yeah, I like
Love that.
I like how he dug
So
out Cole. So I have a
So
rant to
good.
go on here, and
Okay.
it ties in with your question about Seth Rollins. I don't know if I'll answer your Seth Rollins question here, but on Monday Night Raw, we saw a brand new heavyweight champion crowned
Okay.
in Gunter.
I have something to say about this as well, but I want to see where you're going.
And wrestling fans are crying.
Okay, so we're going to be on the same fucking page here. This is exactly where I was going to go to. Oh, never happy. Never happy. Pissed off that Jay beat Gunther and now pissed off that Gunther beat Jay. You're never fucking happy. What's wrong with people?
First of all,
Oh, I don't understand it.
I don't think Jey Uso needed a long title run, and I've been saying that all
You've
year.
been saying that since pre-WrestleMania. Right before WrestleMania, you said
I've been saying
Jay's
that
gonna
since
win.
pre-Royal Rumble when he
Sure
fought
enough.
Gunther at Saturday Night's Main
You
Event.
said flat out that Jay's going to win the title. He's going to hold it for about 2 months. And
3
that's-
weeks.
that's
I
good
said
enough.
3 weeks
That's
originally.
good enough. Man, go ahead, because this whole situation pisses me off. I want to hear what you have to say.
First of all, people are crying, oh, it happened on Monday Night Raw. Well, guess what? You're going to see in our list today, it's not the
Yeah.
only fucking title change that's happened on Monday Night Raw. But-
Once again, all you people bitching and whining and saying, "Oh, we missed the Attitude Era." Do you know how much Attitude Era we're going to talk about tonight in my list? The title changed hand on Raw every second week during the Attitude Era.
Also, they hyped this match up for like 4 weeks. So it's not just like it was a throwaway match with no hype that they decided they're going to do and change title. This was
Yeah.
planned. Both Logan Paul was involved still in this when they started doing it, and Jey Uso and Gunter all were doing promos on each other. Second of all, there is absolutely no shame in losing to Gunter ever. The guy
Ever.
is the best wrestler in the WWE. Like,
It's funny because the same people I'm hearing saying, "Oh well, he was the best wrestler of the year. Why'd they bring the title off him?" Those same people are now saying, "Oh, why'd they drop it to the most boring guy in WWE?"
third of all, what you've done now with this title run is you have taken Jey Uso from the guy that I call it the AJ Styles spot because AJ Styles for a long time and Chris Jericho, they were always the people that would challenge for the title first, that you knew you were going to get a great match, but they weren't going to win the belt. AJ's done it with Roman, AJ's done it with Cody, Jericho's done it with everybody, right? Jey Uso was a guy up until this year that I knew would be a great contender for the championship,
Sure.
but I never believed he would win. Now he is a former world champion. So when you put him in that spot in the future to challenge for a championship, I'm going to think, man, this guy's won the title before. He can do it again. So he's more credible now. On top of that, he won the Royal Rumble and had a magical moment at WrestleMania that most people would kill to get. Jey Uso's title run was exactly what it needed to do. It elevated him. Now we're back to business with Gunter.
It's a story as old as time. This is what people have been doing. Once you put a title on somebody, it elevates them. It makes them more credible. And even if you knew you're going to take it off them right away. Perfect example, if you want to go back to 1998, after his first blood match with Steve Austin, how long did Kane hold that title for?
24 hours.
24
Not even
hours.
24 hours.
And every match he had from there on, they pushed him as a former world champion, and it made him that much better. He held that title for a day, and just being a former world champion made Kane that much more dangerous and that much more credible. It's been going on for years. It's been going on forever. This is how wrestling works. You have a problem with it now? I've said this before. I'll say it again. I hate to break it to you guys. You just don't like wrestling. Stop watching. Go watch fucking whatever you want to watch. Obviously, you're more into Cirque du Soleil because you'd rather watch Will Ospreay and Ricochet do fucking cartwheels for half an hour. If you don't like storytelling and you don't like this style of wrestling, stop watching. Just stop it and stop complaining and bitching every fucking week, as I complain and bitch about you.
Fair.
But
Yeah, I just thought it was silly that
I hate
people
it.
complained. It was a great, Jay got the big shine for this. Like his stock has never been higher. Like,
Now, here's my question because I brought this up a while back, and now I want to know if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Are they going to Kofi him?
who, Jay?
Yeah. Do we
No.
see Jay? Do we see Jay as champion ever again, or did Jay get his moment in the sun and move
I
on?
don't know. I don't think we see him as a champion again for a while. I
Okay.
don't know if we never say never again.
Sure.
Jay is way more over than Kofi ever was. And
Well, yeah, because he's got something with everything, the yeet and the t-shirts and the music and the
So
entrance and that's
Jay,
something that Kofi just
Jay
never had.
Jay's at a point where he's like Jake the Snake right now. He doesn't need a belt. He doesn't
Yeah.
need it, you know? I think we
Same can be
see
said about Kofi. But I'm not shitting on Kofi here at all.
no, but
Kofi is a tremendous performer, and I don't think he needs to ever be champion again
outside of
to be relevant.
outside of those, and it was only about a month and a half for Kofi Mania. Outside of that, though, he's never been that over. Like he's never been Jey Uso over.
You say that, but New Day in itself has
They
been one of
were
the most over things in
absolutely
the
they're
world for
fantastic,
years. Yes.
but they are nowhere close to that level of the Jey Uso overness.
Okay.
New Day, and I'm not
I'm
taking
not
away
sure
from
if I agree with that.
I'm not taking away from New Day at all when I say
Kofi
that.
on his own, I agree. New Day versus Jay,
New
I think
Day's
it's
not.
very level.
New Day is not getting the consistent reactions that Jey Uso gets every
Kofi
week
Mania was huge.
for about a month,
You know what I mean? For about a month. Yeah.
and then what?
Well, the same can be
Jay
said about a lot of things. Look at the
Col-
Yes Movement. The Yes
Kofi,
Movement died
the
very shortly after Daniel won the title.
the Yes Movement is still alive and well to this day.
I don't agree with that.
I mean, anytime Daniel Bryan, even in AEW, wrestled, the whole arena still chants yes.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, and what are crowd? The crowd still chants yes today.
Yeah. Well, what I meant by that was the minute he won that title, they were ready for him not to have that title anymore.
Well, it's because
The
he
same
got
and the
hurt,
same thing
right?
happened with Kofi.
He didn't even get a title run.
Even
He
even
got hurt a
even
month later.
even before that, they were starting to turn on him. You could see it
I don't think so.
because fans are fucking fickle.
That's a great word.
I love it.
Because that's his word. But I don't think the fans ever turned on Daniel Bryan's title reign. They never got a chance to get behind it. He had
Go
one
back and watch it a
defense.
bit. Yeah.
He
Go back and
was
watch
only
it a
the
bit.
champion for 3 weeks.
Just go back and watch. You could tell it was coming.
What?
They were going to turn on.
I don't
They were
think
going
so.
to. You could already tell. No,
They
100%.
haven't turned on him yet. It's been 10 years since then.
Yeah.
He's the chosen one.
That's Drew McIntyre. Always
That's
will be.
he's Daniel Bryan, I
Drew,
think
you want to talk about the MVP of the year? I'm not saying he is, but you want to talk about contentions? Drew is one of my favorite wrestlers of this year so far.
every year.
Drew, man, the fact that I think everybody kind of gave up at him at some point, being stuck in with the 3-man band and stuff like that. I'll never say he did what Cody did because he didn't do what Cody did, but he did what Cody did on a smaller level.
No,
When
Cody did what he did.
No, nobody. Yeah, you're not wrong. Just Cody did it on a fucking massive level that nobody will ever beat. But when he left WWE and he went to TNA, went to ICW, and made himself into that star, and be like, "Yeah, look what you're missing. Look who you fired, you idiots." And they brought him back and made him into the biggest WWE superstar that he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'll never stop saying good things about Drew McIntyre. 2025 has been the year of Drew McIntyre for sure.
It's been a great year for him. His feud with Damian Priest was outstanding.
He's had his last 2 feuds, Punk. Let's throw Seth in there as well, I guess, but definitely Punk and Drew and Damian Priest. I can't wait to see what's next for Drew.
Yeah, he's taking some much deserved time off right now, healing up some injuries.
I truly hope that he could be the next guy that I would really like to see elevate that Money in the Bank.
Well, I mean, he tried, but Punk blew it for him.
Well, but yes, and that was the right spot for that storyline. Yeah, that needed to happen. But as a face, bring him back as a face, have him win that. He could be your face guy to make that worth something. I think
I'd like to see if they do bring him back as a face. I'd like to see him in the mix with Gunter.
I would like to see him in the mix with because then he has to lose. I was gonna say John Cena. Him and John Cena would put on a great program.
Yeah, of course they would, but I just think Gunter's more catered to Drew.
For sure. I mean, they would have a great program no matter what. Him and Gunther for sure.
What are your vibes on the Gunter Goldberg rumors that are coming? Gunter called him out. Gunter mentioned his name.
So people are thinking that's why they had him drop the title, or why they had Jay drop the title, was to set up for this Goldberg thing. What could my thoughts be? And I have no room in my life for this.
I love it. I think it's great.
I don't think we ever need to see Goldberg on WWE television again.
For his retirement match, I'm fine with a retirement match. I think his retirement match will draw.
100%. There, you're correct. If he decides to retire in WWE, he said some things to make me believe that maybe that he would do like some sort of indie thing the way Rick did.
No. But the only thing that he's said is that his biggest wish is that he could have his retirement match in Israel. Because he's Jewish, right? So
see, I heard him say it's going to be in the South.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh yeah, actually the rumor is
Yeah.
Saturday night's main event in Atlanta. Sorry, that's the rumor. Not
Atlanta would be the spot to do
not
it.
SummerSlam. It'd be Saturday night's main event in Atlanta.
Okay, that would be the place to do it. Um, if he loses, fine. It's just like every time they bring him back, though, it's like outside of his loss to Brock Lesnar, everything else has just been such garbage. He comes in and kills fucking Cody. He comes in and kills fucking Bray Wyatt. I just don't like
I
what
think
they've done with
your
him.
timelines are mixed up though.
What do you mean?
He came back and beat Bray for the belt, then he
Yeah, no,
lost to Brock.
I'm not really talking
Like
timelines. I'm just talking about the things that he did. Every time they bring him back, I'm not
he
a fan of what they
loses.
do.
He loses more than he wins now.
Well,
He
do you not
beat
be he beat Bray?
Yeah, but that's when he
It,
won the belt to lead to his Brock Lesnar matches.
yeah,
Oh
yeah, but
no, sorry, not his Brock Lesnar match. That led to him dropping the title at WrestleMania. It was
no,
supposed to be to Roman.
what I'm saying is him losing to Brock is the only thing they did that I liked.
Yeah,
Everything else, the way it's not even the fact that he beat these people, it's the way he came in and squashed Bray when Bray was on a hot streak.
that was
He
bad
he
booking.
he comes in and squashes Kofi when Kofi's on a hot streak.
Kofi.
I did he not beat Kofi?
Well, that was Brock.
Fuck. My memory's
He
all fucking whacked out.
he jobbed really quick to Strowman at WrestleMania. He jobbed really quick to
That was
Drew
bad booking as well, by the way.
to Roman.
I didn't
Well,
agree
because it
with
was
that
supposed to
booking.
be Roman, but COVID happened and Roman
Mhm.
left, right? Then he jobbed to Roman. He jobbed to McIntyre,
So,
I
anyways,
believe. But
if he's gonna
he
face
beat Dolph.
Gunther,
You're thinking of Dolph Ziggler is who he beat at SummerSlam.
oh shit, you're right. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I don't know why Kofi was in my head, but you're right. I if he's gonna face Gunther, I want him to lose.
Of course he will.
If he's gonna, you say of course he will. We're in that era of you never know what they're gonna do with a retirement match, and if he's going and he's got a bit of an ego, let's be honest about it. So if he's going to win his retirement match, I don't know who I want it to be against because it's got to be somebody who can not be harmed by a loss. If Gunther was not champion and they fought, fine, fucking fine.
I don't want Goldberg to ever beat Gunter.
I'd be okay with it because Gunther can survive it. Gunther can survive losing to Goldberg.
I mean, I would have suggested Drew McIntyre over Gunter in that spot because Drew McIntyre can survive a
Take
loss.
take Gunther out of the situation. Do you have a current dream match for Goldberg?
Um,
I'm,
not.
I mean, Braun Breaker comes to mind because of the similarities.
Yeah, I don't know how great of a match they would have though. I don't know. Like, do you think Breaker could carry Goldberg?
I just don't think the experience is there yet. The talent is there. Is the experience and the psychology, is it there to carry the match? I'm not sure yet.
What about Cena? That's a big dream match.
That's a huge match. Wow, never thought of that. He could, because he could leave. He'd have to lose. He'd have to lose.
I think Gunter's the right choice overall, but
Yeah, I don't know. You're selling me on Cena. I'm really liking the idea of Cena beating Goldberg for Goldberg's last match. I like if I'm gonna sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna watch a Goldberg match. I'm down for this.
I wouldn't hate it. I think Gunter's the right call overall, but I would not have a problem with Goldberg and Cena.
Huh. Never thought of this. But then again, I never thought we'd be talking about Goldberg today. So
Fair enough.
what one last person we need to talk about before we move on to this list. We got to talk about R-Truth, right?
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
So let's hit the timeline. 2 weeks ago, Truth gets quote unquote fired.
He got let go. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That man was let go.
But here's the thing: he wasn't let go, in my mind.
No, his contract was not going to be
He wrote a
renewed.
contract. The contract ended on a certain day. They told him, "Hey, we'd like to resign your contract, but for lesser money." He said, no, thank you. Okay. So they didn't resign it. End of story.
Mhm.
And I, as a businessman, man, I see that on both sides. From business for him, I need more money. I'm not signing. Fine. Business from the other side, you're 50 fucking years old. You're not going to be the face of this company. We don't think you should be paid this much. We're not going to resign. On both sides, from a business standpoint, I saw this. I was definitely not on the fuck WWE for firing him bandwagon.
No.
Then the fans revolt. Triple H or whoever made this decision sees, okay, well, they really want him back. So they apparently, rumor says they met in the middle. They had a number, which Killings didn't like. He had a number that WWE didn't like. They met right in the middle. They liked it. They gave him the opportunity to do the things creatively he wanted to do, like change his names back to Ron Killings and stuff
Yeah,
like
that was a big thing for him.
Yeah. So not only that, but seeing him come out and say things like "the truth will set you free," we're seeing that TNA character again, which
It's an amazing
a
character.
lot of the current WWE fans may not know this character,
I doubt any of them do.
but you and I, this is 20 years ago, so you and I were 20 years old when this happened. It's a great character. It's an amazing character. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. This character was the NWA World Champion. Great character. To bring him back the way they did was so smart. Everything outside of it, everything outside, I don't care about. His son saying Triple H is full of shit. Triple H saying that it was all work. I don't care about any of that. I don't care if it was a work. I don't care if it wasn't a work. I don't care. What do I care about? Ron Killings coming on my TV every week, because I'll watch Ron Killings on my TV every week. Him coming out, doing that promo, saying, I love our truth. I love our truth. But right now, you're getting Ron Killings. Cutting off his hair.
It's a strong
Everything.
promo. Strong
Very
promo.
one of the best promos we've seen this year.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what we're going to see from Ron going forward. I'm really
agree.
excited.
I agree.
What do you see from going forward? Do you think they're going to push the momentum?
I think they have to. I just don't
Yeah.
know how. I don't know what they do, but they've got to establish a mean streak in him. Like I think we need to see an
In what
aggressive
way?
side. I think we need to.
A mean baby face, or
Yeah, I
are
think-
are we going to turn him?
I think he's just got to be a tweener right now.
Yeah.
Like the crowd's
That-
going to cheer
that's
for
what-
him.
That's
You
what I
can't-
felt from that promo.
Well,
I didn't-
you can't turn a guy who the whole company, like the whole fan base, revolted behind to
Right.
bring back. You bring him back and
But
turn
that
him as a
promo-
heel. It's stupid.
But that promo definitely wasn't baby. Definitely wasn't white meat. You
No.
know, it was baby, but it definitely wasn't white meat.
It was definitely a babyface promo, but it
Yeah.
wasn't a Cody Rhodes. I'm here
No.
for. But
Yeah.
you know, he acknowledged fans, said we did this together, we made history. But now you're going to see, like,
Yeah.
Ron Killings.
I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with him in the future. And
I thought-
and if they're giving him more, this is what I don't know this. Please don't quote me on saying I knew this. My prediction is that they, in lieu of money, they gave him more creative freedom.
I don't know
and-
about that, but
Well, it's just that's what it feels like. And if that's what they did, I think it was very smart on WWE's part, because Ron is a very intelligent man. And I think he gets this business more than most. So
yeah, he's been in it for like 30 years.
exactly. So we're going to see some fun stuff, man.
thought-
I'm really looking forward to see what we see from Ron Killings.
I thought that Triple H, I thought they left him out to dry a little bit, but he also didn't do himself any favors in the way that he handled the situation as well.
Sure.
I thought Triple H comes out looking really bad in this situation.
May I play devil's advocate in this situation?
Yes.
What are you referring to? To him just doing the thing where he said, are you enjoying the show? That's all part of the show. Is that what you're referring to?
That's part one of two parts.
What's the other part?
The fact that Nick Khan came out and rehired Truth back and basically was like,
Okay.
"I'm overshadowing you, Triple H." I'm
Who
I'm
said it was
pulling.
Triple H's decision to fire him in the first place?
That's what the rumors on the street
Okay.
are, that it was Triple H and Nick Khan's decision.
Here's where it lays. Look at the man's job. The man is not the president of the WWE. He
No,
is the provider of content.
he's the
It is
face. He's also the face
He
of the
is the face of
company.
the company, but he is not the man. Look at his job description. He is not the man who hires and fires. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
Everybody, but because, and you just said the perfect phrase, because he's the face of the company, everybody puts all blame on him and I'm sure
Well,
he knew this was going to happen.
I think he did himself no favors by saying it was a work. Enjoy the storyline. Like, I think he sounded like a complete idiot saying that.
Here, okay, again,
But
here's where I play devil's advocate on that one.
Nick Khan didn't do him any favors either, though. Nick
No,
Khan kind of just made Triple H look like the asshole in the situation too.
I'm going to play devil's advocate on that one because I put myself in his shoes of if I'm sitting there in my job, my role is to do content and to talk about content.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to ask me about things that don't have anything to do with content, I'm going to mull over it, push through, and do my job. His job is to be a character and to talk about the show. It's not his job
I don't agree with that.
talk about the politics of that. It's not his job. The politics of that business is not his job.
So
His
then
job
don't do
is
the press
is
conferences.
the weekly. The press conferences are it's fucking professional wrestling. That should be as work as anything else.
But they're not.
But he's trying to make it so.
So then don't do them.
When the
or
journalists
get everybody on the same page then.
when the journalists try to turn around and shoot it, he shuts them down and he plays kayfabe.
And he looks like an
I
idiot.
don't think I would do anything different.
I would. Triple H needs to decide though, because he plays both sides of the fence when he does these press conferences. I watch these press conferences
Yeah, me too. Because I want to see what he's doing.
Well, one day I hope to be on the other side of those press conferences. So I watch them to study them. And Triple H needs to pick a side of the fence and decide if he wants to be a work or a shoot in these press conferences. Because he'll go out there and he'll talk about things that are a shoot and then get butthurt when people bring up things for a shoot. But then, do you want it to be a work or a shoot?
Well, for me, he didn't get butthurt.
He lied.
He tried to mull by it and he tried to just push through it.
But he looked like an idiot doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess.
The one thing,
you maybe
the one to everybody, Mike, and he does this with the Vince McMahon stuff all the time too. Like
because they shouldn't be asking about the Vince McMahon shit. You want to know about Vince McMahon? Call fucking Vince McMahon.
No,
he has nothing to do with that.
When
shit.
the Vince stuff first broke,
no, I knew, and I had his back on all that stuff.
But
he has nothing to do with that.
But you know the questions are coming. He needs better media training, I think. I think he needs better media training when it comes to the real life stuff.
Then if they want that handled, then I think Nick needs to start doing some
I agree, but he doesn't. So this is the role that they have decided to do. This is the spot that Triple H puts himself in. He needs to do better. You can't, and the one thing that we have said about the WWE and this whole new regime and the most shining light that we have always said about them, it doesn't feel like they're insulting our intelligence anymore. When Triple H goes out there and sits down and goes, huh, just sit back and enjoy the ride, you're insulting my intelligence now.
See, and I don't. Okay, this will have to be one of those agree to disagree situations. I definitely don't get the insult my intelligence vibe on that one.
Because we all know that Truth's contract wasn't picked up. Like, that's real.
But we don't know. And that's what pisses me off.
Well, we do know.
But we don't know.
We saw
don't know
him.
Fuck all.
We saw him release with the contract of Carlito, Sarah Logan, and R-Truth.
And who's to say R-Truth wasn't playing us the whole time?
I don't think he was.
But who's to say?
I mean, there's been a lot of very credible There are credible.
Who the fucking professional wrestling today is credible?
John Pollock. John
He
Pollock.
No, he's just going off what he reads.
No, John Pollock does not do that. He is a credible man. He's not Dave Meltzer.
The only credible person in the world, brother, is fucking Jonathan Coachman.
Hey, you know what though?
No, don't. No.
I
not
don't
defend Coach.
I'm not defending
Coach has become the new fucking Vince Russo, and I could do an entire show bitching about Jonathan fucking Coachman.
I'm not defending Coach. However, he has not been wrong on some of the things that he has said. He was the first
100% wrong because he doesn't know shit.
He was the first person to say that Vince McMahon was looking to dabble his toes back into the world of entertainment. Mm-hmm. Now he got it wrong, saying he was going to buy WWE back, but Vince is starting his own entertainment company again.
That's never what he said, though.
Who, Coach?
Yeah, he said
Coach said he was going to try to buy WWE again.
Exactly, and he said it again this week.
He also said that he thinks that Triple H is going to be gone in 15 months.
Yep, and who else has been saying that for the last 2 years?
Vince Russo, bro.
Thank you. No.
I'm just saying, Coach, I don't agree with Coach a lot. And I think that a lot of the stuff he says is silly.
I've never said this before on this show, and I'm going to say it right now. For the first time ever, for the first time in counted out history, I'm glad somebody turned me down for an interview. I don't want Jonathan Coachman on this show.
I would love to talk to the coach.
The shit he's saying right now,
yeah,
he's a fucking idiot.
He'd be a great interview, though. He's got so many great stories.
Such a moron.
I like the coach. I don't agree with what he says, but I like him.
All right. I think it's time for the list. We've rambled on enough. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. This week, we did see Gunther win the World Championship on Monday Night Raw for the first time in probably, I want to say, nearly fucking 12 to 15 years.
I'm trying to think of the last title change on Raw.
I think I might have it written down somewhere too, but it's been a long time, a very long time. I want to say at least since 2014, possibly. It's been a very, very long time.
The last one I can remember is Kurt Angle, but I know there's been more since then.
Kurt Angle.
When he beat Booker T.
Okay.
Or Austin. One of the two.
No, but since then, I'm pretty sure Cena's had a match. I'm not sure. Anyways, we're going to talk about the 7 greatest.
Like not a Money in the Bank cash. There's been a bunch of Money in the Bank cash-ins.
Well, that counts today.
No, today it does. I'm just talking about like a match.
So what we're talking about today is the greatest world title matches, and that could be WWE title or world heavyweight title.
Oh, it's Bobby Lashley, 2021. We're so dumb.
We're talking about greatest title changes in Raw history.
World title changes or
Raw title changes. And I want to make that very, very
So it could be any championship or world.
No. I said it could be the WWE title or the world heavyweight title.
Okay, so it's got to be the heavyweight, like the big dog.
It's got to be one of or the universal title as well, I guess.
As long as it's the world champion.
Those world titles, the WCW title does not count.
Booker T, you're out. Suck it, Kurt Angle.
Not like they would make the fucking list anyways, but though it's just the main WWE titles count towards this list. But the reason I'm saying this list is about title changes, not necessarily about title matches, because there's a lot of credentials for this list. It's got to be a decent match at least. Okay.
What about moment?
If it's a great match, then that helps your situation. But the moment revolving around it, the story revolving around it, the impact revolving around it is what I'm looking at the most. If this is a title change that changed the course of history, we're going to talk about this a lot more. If it's just a really, really good match, you have a contention. But we're looking at that title matches to happen on television on Monday Night Raw specifically that we're still talking about today. Not necessarily because it was a great match, but because maybe it changed the course of history.
Okay.
It really changed the story. The story behind it really helped wrestling. I decided not to include the women's title match in this, but if I did, I was really looking at Paige and AJ Lee, because was it a great match? No, it was 5 seconds long. But did it change the course of history? I think it did. I think it developed the road from the Divas era to the Women's Championship era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was definitely the start of paving it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was like the breaking pavement for sure.
When I was still thinking about putting those titles in, that match was going to be on the list. So we're going to start with my number 7.
Did you lose your list?
No, I wrote down 2 number 7s. I don't know which is the right one.
Oh God. Good old number 7, always the hardest one. And
number 7 happened in February of 1997. And I think this match is on my list strictly because it was a great match, and it was the best match, maybe the best match of one of the participants in history. We're looking at Bret the Hitman Hart losing his title to Psycho Sid.
Okay.
Now, I think this match, my number 7, as usual, was very hard. 6 through 1 were actually pretty easy. Number 7, I was rotating 5 matches for number 7. I landed on this one. Pardon. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll have to see what didn't make your list before I can say.
Okay. And whatever you pick might be better in your eyes, and I'll concede to that. I'll tell you why I chose this match. When I originally wrote this match down, I had my memory wrong. I thought this was their cage match.
No, yeah, this is what Austin.
Yeah, and their cage match would have been in the top 3 for me because of the moment that encompassed it. That's one of the moments I think that led to the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
When
Bret pushed Vince.
Bret's promo after that match is one of the most iconic and most memorable things of that era. But this match happened, a week or 2 before that match?
Mm-hmm. This was the night after In Your House Final 4.
Exactly. So to refresh your all memory, Bret goes to win the championship at Final 4. The very next night, he's forced to face Sid. And they had, in my mind, probably Sid's greatest one-on-one match.
What I loved about this match, too, is that they tried to do it like 3 different times during the show. Mm-hmm. They tried to open the show with this match, and Austin jumped Bret. And then they were going to do it in the middle of the show, and then Austin jumped Bret backstage. And then to main event it, Austin costs Bret the match with the crutch.
And that's where I was about to mention that. I think another reason it's on my list because it led to my favorite WrestleMania match of all time. Huh? This match is that solidified the fact that he was going to face Austin at WrestleMania. It's an important match in history because without that storyline happening, maybe we don't get to WrestleMania 13. I have a question for you, though, because I do not remember through this whole match, they kept talking about the winner of this match is going to face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Why was Undertaker the main of the number 1 contender? I don't remember.
I think it's because he was the last person eliminated in the Final 4.
Just that easy, eh?
Well, they had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Because Austin won the Rumble, but he cheated, which led to Final 4.
Yeah.
And then where do you go after that?
Taker being the man was fine. I just couldn't remember how he got there.
That would be my guess. That's the only reason I can think of.
Anyways, this match, I'm biased. I love 1997 wrestling. I love 1997 Bret Hart. And this was right before Bret turned to the Bret Hart that we loved in 1997. or hated, depends on what side of the border you were on. Brett was still that face champion and that baby face. I'm going to do it for my fans, but he was slowly turning, and you could see that. This is one of the first matches we saw, not the first, but one of the first matches we saw him do the figure four on the ring post. Faces don't do that. A baby face wouldn't do that move. So we're slowly seeing the turn in Brett in this, and I loved it. And the fans were ready for it because the cheers that Sid got in this match are crazy.
Yeah, the crowd loves Sid.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was happening since Survivor Series with him, right?
Yeah, 100%. So you don't seem to agree with this match being on my list, but we'll see what you think later on when you hear the rest.
Yeah, I have to hear more of it.
My number 6 is a first. This man won his first WWE championship on Raw, and he held it for like a month, but he would go on to be one of the greatest WWE champions of all time in my mind. So we have to talk about this match. And we're going to talk about August 23rd of 1999, Triple H versus Mankind.
Yeah, night after SummerSlam.
Night after SummerSlam. Do you remember this match much?
I remember China was a big part of it.
She was a very big part of it.
And
basically the reason that he won. But it's so cool because he was such an integral part of Mankind's rise in the beginning. You know, he was at ringside when Mankind won his first championship. Mm-hmm. So for him to go and he would do that heel turn, change his music, do everything that he had to do, was slowly turning into the game. He wasn't there yet, but he was getting there, kind of thing. And then he beats Mankind on on television, not on a pay-per-view, on television for his first WWE championship. I think that's an important night. And if you go back and watch the match, it was a pretty goddamn good match.
Well, they always had great matches.
Is it in their top 3 best matches between the two of them? Maybe not. But name me a bad match between Triple H and Mankind.
I'm surprised by your criteria that this isn't lower on your list, because this is Triple H's first ever championship. So changing the course of the business for sure.
Well, 100%. That's one piece of criteria. But I should have mentioned this criteria too. The fans should have a lot to say about this. If you got a big pop for your title change, that's going to do some work on my list.
Fair.
And my number 6 and my number 5 prove that. Or my number 5 and my number 4 prove that. We're moving on to my number 5. And we're looking at The Miz cashing in Money in the Bank against Randy Orton.
I'm glad this is on your list, and I think this is a good spot.
2010. Yeah.
I think this is a good spot for it.
The crowd reaction was pretty much split 50-50. The crowd reaction was really weird that night, but it doesn't matter if you're cheering or booing. As long as you're loud, then it makes sense. And that crowd was loud.
The Miz was really.
Also, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but was this not the night that the Miz Girl was created?
Yes, this was the night Miz Girl was created.
That's one of the most iconic images in WWE history.
The Miz was really catching fire at this time as well. This is he's definitely one of the most underrated Money in the Bank briefcase holders of all time. He was really, like, his promos were really coming together. Mm-hmm. His character was really coming together with I'm the Miz and I'm awesome. This is when he first started really getting that over. And this is all about timing. And this was perfect timing to elevate the Miz. He had just finished his run putting over Daniel Bryan for the US title. He had a great run as the US champion. Mm-hmm. And now
that whole program was fantastic, by the way.
And now it was time for the next step. And what a better way to do it than to cash in against one of the best of all time, Randy Orton. And, and I like the fact that he cashed in after, I think Orton had just fought Wade Barrett, if I'm not mistaken. Could have been Wade Barrett. That's my guess, at least. Orton just had a hard-fought match. Miz comes out, and I like the fact that they didn't just have him come out and win. Like, he almost lost, you know what I mean? There was like that struggle. There was like that little bit of a struggle before he won. And I think that set the stage for what his title run was going to be. He was an underdog champion that overachieved, that you thought he was going to lose every time he defended the title. Fuck,
Mhm.
people thought Jerry Lawler was going to beat him for the world title.
Including me. I was sitting there in the Jerry camp. And it had nothing to do with hating Miz. I didn't hate Miz at all. But watching Jerry Lawler beat the Miz for the title would have been phenomenal television.
Yeah,
And
this was a
you
good
know,
one.
yeah.
This was a really good one.
And the only reason it's in my number 5 spot and not anywhere larger is because the rest I think were really pushed more by history and the fans.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect spot for it, though.
Everything from this point on, I'm talking about the fans. The fans went nuts for all of these spots. My number 4, yeah, the fans went nuts in the arena, but they obviously went nuts at home too, because this is the highest, or was the highest rated match and segment in Raw history for years. My number 4 is Steve Austin versus The Undertaker on June 28th, 1999.
Okay. Yeah.
This match, it is what it is. Is it the greatest match that The Undertaker ever had? Probably not. But there's a reason why I love 1998, 1999, because you're in peak attitude era, but you're not at that Mark Henry's love child era yet. It's still, the in-ring stuff is phenomenal. The storylines, especially the Austin stuff, is still at its peak. And Taker at this point, this is 1999. Taker, I know you weren't a fan of the Ministry, so you're going to have to kind of turn off your Ministry hating goggles for a second. But Taker comes in as champion. You got this disgusting heel Paul Bearer just being a piece of shit on the outside. I loved Paul Bearer's heel work at this point in time. And then Austin's you're the biggest baby face in the world in '99. So to see him win his championship back from The Undertaker on this night, obviously did something, because, like I said, it was the highest rated, highest watched WWE segment for years. I think that says something. I think that's why it has to be my number 4.
I'd have to go back and rewatch this one, because I don't know where I would put either this one or his match with Kane on this list for sure. I just don't know. I just don't know which one, because of the same reason. Like, the crowd was mental.
You talking about his match with Kane the night after
King of the Ring?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but there's I'm looking at your list. You got what, 3 spots left?
Yes.
And I think our top 3s are going to align. I hope so, but we'll see.
Okay. I don't think so. My number 3. You want to talk about crowd pops? Whole fucking crowd pop on this one. We're going to Dolph Ziggler cashing in Money in the Bank against Alberto Del Rio in April 8th of 2013.
This is my number 2.
You're doing something with your face there. Okay.
That's my number 2.
All right. I don't know. I have a feeling our number 1's will align. I don't know what your number 3 is. I do not know what your number 3 could be. But this is my number 3. I think Dolph, this turned everything around for Dolph. This turned everything around for the Money in the Bank and made Money in the Bank worth something again. To my recollection, I think this is the second greatest Money in the Bank cash in history. Second only to Seth. Yeah.
I think this is one of the greatest moments of Monday Night Raw history.
It's up there for sure.
And like, if you would have told me this would be your number 1, I wouldn't argue either.
Okay.
I'm really intrigued what your number 2 is, though, because I want to see if we have them the same but flipped.
My number 2 is considered to be one of the greatest in-ring wrestling matches in Raw history. Which is funny, because when you say those words, you're gonna think about matches like Shawn Michaels versus Shelton Benjamin or something like that, right? You're gonna think of in-ring technicians. You're gonna think of anything with Bret Hart. That's not what this is. But this was labeled by Cage Match and Dave Meltzer and a lot of people, it's one of the greatest matches in Raw history. And rewatching it, I can't disagree. We are going to a match we alluded to just a few minutes ago, and this is Steve Austin versus Kane,
Okay.
June 29th, 1998. Exactly a year before, by the way, the Austin versus Undertaker match. Almost
See,
to the day.
I think I would lean to this one over the Taker match because it was a year earlier. This was the hottest Austin was. This was
Yes.
this was his peak. Like
Yes.
the summer of
This
98.
was Austin. There was nobody bigger than Austin. Austin losing that title the night before pissed fans off to no end, but not in the way that it pissed off fans now. Nowadays, fans are like, bad booking, man. No, back then it was like, Stone Cold lost the title in that way? But what? How can he bleed? He's wearing a mask. He's wearing sleeves. He can't bleed. What? People were invested in professional wrestling back then. People, I'm not going to say the word believe because most of them were smart enough to know that it was a work, but we fucking put that away and we still believed.
Everybody wanted to drink beer and beat up their boss, right?
We were invested in these storylines. So we weren't pissed off about the booking. We were pissed off because our hero lost that title in a shitty way. So 24 hours later, we're like, well, you're not going to take that title off Kane so early. Like, what's going to happen here? Not on Raw. And then they end up having, in my estimation, probably one of the greatest matches in Kane's career.
Bar's not set too high there.
Right? Well, no, and that's kind of what I mean. Kane will, and I don't mean to be a jerk, but it's kind of what I meant about what I said about Sid earlier. Kane is not going to be on anybody's top 10 wrestlers list when it comes to actual in-ring wrestling. But this match, Austin brought out the best in Kane, and this whole storyline brought the best out in Austin. They had a phenomenal match. It was, I know the other match, the Taker match, was ranked as one of the most watched matches, but this is a better match.
Yeah.
This is 100% a better match. And Austin winning in the end got the most massive crowd pop you can imagine.
This would definitely be in my top 4, I think. I don't have a problem with being in the number 2. I don't.
Okay. So
but
obviously
you are missing one that I think should be on your list, judging by your criteria.
We'll talk about it in a second.
I think our number ones line up.
I think it has to. When you talk about Monday Night Raw, important matches, not just title changes, but just important matches in Raw history. You have to talk about this match, right? Yeah. We got to talk about Mankind versus The Rock, January 14th, or January 4th, 1999.
That match put butts in seats.
It sure as hell did. This match turned everything around. This match is what won them the Monday Night War.
As well as one of the reasons.
One of the reasons, but
it was like a nail in the coffin, kind of.
And you can thank Steve Austin for this. You can thank Mankind for this. You can thank The Rock for this, and you can sure as hell thank Tony Schiavone for this.
Well, and you can thank the WCW creative team at this point too, because
for those who are younger and don't understand our analogies here, this was the night that WCW on Nitro flat out tried to give away the. They were doing this for a few weeks now.
Yeah, this has been done for years.
Yeah, giving away the Raw results. And
Raw was pre-recorded.
And on this particular night, they told everybody that Mankind had won the WWE Championship. And the famous line is, that'll Mick Foley with the WWE Championship. That'll put butts in seats.
Have you heard?
As if on cue, every single WCW fan switched over to USA.
Which probably isn't the worst thing on the planet, considering this was the night of the Finger Book of Doom, so it could have actually done them a favor.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard?
This was the worst night in WCW history for 2 very good reasons.
Have you ever heard Mick Foley tell the story about how he didn't smarten his kids up that he won the belt?
No.
Because it was pre-recorded Raw, so he brought the belt home, and he had the belt hidden. and
Oh.
he watched the match with his kids,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
then he won. Like when he won, they went crazy, and he pulled the belt out, and they were all running around the living room with
That's
it.
amazing. I
It's a
love that.
great story. This is probably the best pop in Monday Night Raw history. The coolest looking pop,
When
at least, when the
it
glass
it, it,
hits.
it kind of sucks for the people involved that the biggest pop was not the two people in the match. But the fact is, when that glass hits, holy shit.
Well, it was such a build-up too, because you had DX and the Corporation as the lumberjacks for the match
Yeah.
outside the ring, and they were brawling. People were already losing it, and then the glass hit. I think Austin had been off TV for about a month at this point
About
too.
that. Yeah.
So there
It's it,
is
it's very
the
cool for Triple H that he was ringside for that match, and then 7 months later,
yeah,
he's
he's
in
the
that match.
guy.
He's in the ring again for his first title match against Mick Foley. That was
There's
cool.
so I said at the beginning I have to hear the rest of your list to see if I agree to number seven.
So
So
obviously, you think the Hitman instead should be off my list.
it's coming off your list because
Okay,
I don't know how you don't have
I'm gonna.
CM Punk cashing in on Edge.
Oof. That might be a an oversight. I don't remember that being Raw. Okay,
Yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. Batista beat the hell out of Edge.
and that was your number three,
That would be in my top four.
really?
I would jumble. That moment was incredible, and it checks off all your criteria
Yeah,
with the crowd pop and with changing history. CM Punk's first World Heavyweight Championship, right?
yeah.
I definitely think that has to be somewhere on your list. I would put it at the very least the number four spot. I think because it was a bigger moment in my opinion than the Miz one. Um, I would just bump everything up, and that I just think it has to be on there.
I think that
CM,
was a big oversight. I don't remember that. For some reason, I thought that was on a pay-per-view.
no, it was in
But
like I think it was in Texas, somewhere in
okay,
Texas, because
all right.
then he fought JBL later that night for the world title.
Yeah, I'll concede to that just because like I said, my number seven was so hard that I'm not married to Hitman versus Sid.
Yeah, I think
If
other
it
than
if it was the cage match, we'd be talking a whole different. That match would be solidified on this list, but it's not the cage match, so we can't talk about it.
no, other than that, I think your list is pretty good. I don't have any issues with your list other than that.
Um, do you have any honorable mentions? I think I have a couple written down, but
I mean, I nothing that I would change. So no, I don't.
no.
I'm just kind of happy with what you did there. If you put that Punk match on, I think you've got a pretty perfect list.
Austin versus Angle was in contention for number seven.
Yeah, I mean that's a good match.
Punk versus Edge,
That's the match I'm talking
or
about.
no, sorry, not. I wrote that down because you said it. Jericho versus Batista. Sorry, is what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
I don't remember much about that one.
There was another one here. Oh, and there was a match between Cena and Rey Mysterio
Yeah, I hated the way they did that.
that I wrote down.
That's a cool match if they did, but I hated everything about that ending. Ray had won the belt earlier in the night, and then Cena comes back. It's like I want my match now, and Ray's like okay, and then Punk comes back. It was terrible.
Yeah, didn't make the list, so
No, no,
didn't
your
make
list
the
was
list.
good, and next week's show is going to be good too, Mike. Why don't you tell the people?
Before we talk about next week, I want to talk about the last 2 weeks. I want to thank so many people. I want to thank Brian Blair. I want to thank Mark Merrill. The last 2 weeks have been phenomenal and counted out because you and I got to sit down with people that we really admire.
Huh?
Mark Merrill is such an inspiring and beautiful human being, and we can say that because even off camera, he said some really nice things to us, and he's just such a genuinely nice human being that we're very lucky to have not only have him on the show, but to have any sort of association with him. I'm very happy about that. Same could be said about Brian Blair. Brian Blair was one of my favorites. I loved the Bees when I was a kid. They were one of my first favorite tag teams. So I want to thank both Brian Blair and Mark Merrow for being on the show. I hope you guys enjoyed those interviews. If you haven't seen them yet, please go back. They're on YouTube. They're on Spotify. Go find them. You're going to love those interviews. They're two of the best we've done. Next week, I already alluded to this a couple weeks ago, and it's dropping next week. It's been recorded. You're going to get it. We sit down with her for a really fun, unique conversation. Tyler and I get in a room with the son of Harley Race, Justin Race, and the daughter of Tom Billington, the Dynamite Kid, Bronwyn Billington. And they just tell stories about the differences between the two of them and the similarities between the two of them, being raised by WWE legends.
This is a fun
And
show.
it was both exactly what I wanted it to be and far better than I wanted it to be.
I don't
It's a very cool show.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything more about it because I really want our listeners to listen to it because this was a really great conversation to be had, and I highly recommend you guys check
It's
it out next
so
week.
much fun, and that's the word to be used, is conversation. This is not an interview. This is just four people shooting the shit and having fun and having a really good conversation. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed doing it, because it was a lot of fun. We'll be back with a listen in a couple of weeks. Until then, what do you have to say there, Tyler? You good?
Cheers.
All right. We're doing everything back. We open the show backwards. We'll close the show backwards. I'm going to go full lasting mark on this one. I am not Danny Parkhill.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it.
And you've been counted out.
Cheers.